On this channel, we're going to talk about local AI. So why look at Qwen 3.8 Max Preview? Well, this is supposedly a Fable class model that's going to be open weights. So I'm hopeful that someday, when GPU prices and RAM prices go down again, I can run a model like Qwen 3.8 Max Preview at home. And so I just spent an hour with it. I'm going to take you through what it was like to do some building with it. We created an app. It's a multiplayer game. It has a local server and 2 players can play. It's 3D minesweeper. And I think that it did a fantastic job. It tested this thing relentlessly before handing it off to me, which is an attribute of how it felt to use Fable when it was available in the first window. So I am absolutely shocked with the combination of quality and efficiency that I experienced using Qwen 3.8 today. As you can see here, it was cranking for about 45 minutes, and I only used 1% of my 5-hour quota. Absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at it. We've got a tweet about it right here from Alibaba. Qwen 3.8 is launching and going open weight soon with a massive 2.4 trillion parameters. This model is continuously evolving. We believe it's one of the most powerful model available today. I absolutely love that they didn't write this with an agent. So I gave my credit card to these folks today, and we're going to use Qwen 3.8, and we only have 30 minutes because that's when my camera is going to time out, and I'm too lazy to get up. It's funny because it's true. The task that we're going to take a look at is minesweeper. They're claiming that, Qwen 3.8 is second only to Fable on their benchmarks, and they released no benchmarks, by the way, no data to back this up, but they're claiming that it's second only to Fable. So I want to give it something really challenging. I bought the $20 plan, so I'm interested to see how quickly we run up against the token limits. So we're going to ask it to kind of shoot for the moon with a multiplayer experience, 3D in-browser version of Minesweeper. And I don't know what to expect. I haven't written this before. I haven't attempted to prompt an agent into creating this. And I'm really excited to see what Qwen 3.8 does. Okay, we've kicked off a prompt. We can see that Qwen is thinking. One thing I like already is that Qwen is showing me the thinking process. When you use Claude, and I use Claude every day, by the way, in addition to using local AI, but when you use Claude, you get like a summary of the thinking tokens. I think it's to prevent distillation. I'm not exactly sure why, but you don't get the actual reasoning output from the model. And it doesn't look like they're hiding it from us here. It looks to me like the agent is going through some pretty reasonable planning, including the file structure here. It's going to use a client-server architecture, both in JavaScript. That makes sense to me. One thing I want to look out for is how proactive it is. I heard and experienced a little bit myself from using Fable that Fable is extremely proactive, relentlessly proactive, and that it takes a lot of time to test its own work and goes to the lengths of, for example, using AppleScript on your computer to open an app that you're creating and drive it that way to test. I kind of expect that if they're claiming it's near Fable level intelligence, that Qwen 3.8 Max Preview is also going to function like that. So we'll see to what extent it goes to verify its own work, which is a hallmark of, these larger models like Opus and Fable, in my opinion. I think this is an example of that relentless proactiveness, and it's having bots play each other and determining if the game is working through that mechanism. I think it's been working for about 10 minutes now. So we'll see what we can get done within the 30 minutes that we have. I kind of expect it to get to a working state. If it's at the point where it's having bots play against each other, that's a pretty good sign. Another thing that might be a concern is I configured it with a 256K context window, and I'm not sure what size context window is actually supported by 3.8. They didn't say here, and when I was in the console, I didn't see any details on that. So let's take a look at models and see what it actually supports. See, it's not even mentioned on their model marketplace yet. Whoa, limited time 10x usage? That's for the team edition. We're not on the team edition. Where's the model card? All right, how we looking? Now, I just noticed it say something that I want to correct it on. It has permissions to open a browser and drive a browser on my computer. So I'm going to actually interrupt it. I just want to make sure that it uses all the tools at its disposal to kind of tackle this. I also see another thing that I'm concerned with, global npm install. So I'm just going to remind it that I don't want to do that. And what I'm seeing from the reasoning and what I kind of expect for a model with this many parameters is a willingness to kind of grind through ambiguity. I'm going to give it one more hint because I do have a skill for this hooked up in Cloud, but not within Pi. Since I already have it installed, we can hint the model about that. I think that's fair. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is a really good sign. What it's done is it's written all the code, spawned the server, and then spun up headless browsers that are actually testing the app. One thing I really hate is when Claude comes to me and says, hey, I'm done, I finished the work, and I open it up and it's completely broken. One thing we should check is how far we've eaten into our usage on this plan, on this $20 plan. I wonder if they'll show that to me. 99.6% remaining. That's incredible. It's been cranking for like 15 minutes. If I was using Claude, I'd think this would make a significant dent in my usage so far. And I'm on the $100 plan with Claude. This is incredible. Looks like it's debugging some kind of issue with the WebSocket. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Full browser E2E test pass. Both pages loaded with 0 errors. Matchmaking, countdown, game start. The game ended, A hit a mine. Elo change was rendered. Nice. I just noticed that Qwen was complaining about not being able to see images in this chat. It is a multimodal model, and it has the ability to view images and take images as input. So I'm just going to update the PyConfig to give it that. Well, we went over our 30 minutes, and I had to get up and turn the camera back on. Terrible. But it looks like we have a functioning game now. So it's kind of a buzzer beater moment here, and it looks like it might have just completed the work within time. Okay. All right. I'm excited to check this out. I kind of wish the cubes were opaque. And another thing I was kind of hoping was that you would have, whoa, that was a pretty good click. I was hoping that you would have shared state with the other player so that you're both like making progress, revealing parts of the cube. That would kind of add to the pressure. I think it looks pretty awesome, just in terms of the visual style and the look. I like that they're a little bit translucent, but you know, if you want to talk about the game design, maybe they should be opaque. Now let's see what happens when we click something. My score went up here. On this 5x5 cube, I just revealed 47 different parts of it, so 47 different voxels. We don't have the ability to mark a cube as a mine. So as soon as you click, we kind of lost the whole experience of seeing all the mines light up and that kind of visceral, oh no, like all the mines are there now feel that happens at the end of Minesweeper on an old, you know, Windows PC. It does update. It shows us the time and it shows us the ELO updates for me, but not the other players. So that's another feature that could be added. It's always good if you're playing chess or whatever to see the ELO updates from both people. But everything feels very responsive. Sometimes vibe coded or agent created projects can feel a little slow and tacky and have strange UI glitches. And I haven't experienced any of that. So this must be a mine. I would love to be able to mark it. We're going to watch how bad I am at reasoning through Minesweeper. So you're cool, and you're cool. Look, my score's going up. Let's go back and have the agent make this change. Oh, this is kind of funny. It's actually creating a flag by drawing some lines. Now, one thing I want to note, and I don't know if this is like a deliberate design decision from this agent or what, but the fact that we're rendering the squares kind of far apart from each other with this spacing makes it so that I can kind of get in between there and click something in the center, which might actually be sort of a useful feature. Yeah, so if I wanted to click like one of these up in the middle, if there was a scenario where you had to do that, it makes it possible due to the spacing. This flag feature is taking a while, isn't it? Okay, it's updating the documentation. I don't mind that at all. Oh, interesting. So if you're in a match and you refresh, it causes you to lose. Game over. We'll have oh, it's Unbiased Bob playing against Unbiased Bob. There's a strange one. What happens if you refresh? Okay, Unbiased Bob wins in that case. And gains 16 elo. So if you play against yourself and refresh, it's the infinite elo glitch. Okay, I love that. All right, there's our little mine, our little flag. Check that out. I'm excited about that. All right, so let's recap. Qwen 3.8 Max Preview feels like Fable to me. And the key feature, and I keep harping on this, is the proactivity. It goes off and it relentlessly tests and it relentlessly cranks through the details before presenting results. And that's what Fable feels like to me, and Opus not as much. I believe that this is going to test very well, subjectively, based on our experience here. Again, I don't think any benchmarks have been released yet. And yeah, the really amazing thing, and let's pull up the usage after all this work. Here's the usage on our plan, and we used about 1% of our 5-hour window. The agent has been cranking for about 40 minutes now, I think. And we used less than 1% of our weekly window on the $20 plan. My subjective, unbiased take is that the value here is absolutely blowing away what I saw with Fable. And it seems like Fable level intelligence. I'll run the experiment and try this against Opus and try this against what models I have access to with my ChatGPT account. But overall, I'm extremely excited to test this out more. And again, hopeful that someday this is going to be an open weights model that we can run at home. Thanks for following along, and I'll see you in the next one.